Alrighty y'all, welcome to my first ever crochet tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to make a very basic granny stitch bandana. I did mine in Patriotic color since it's almost the 4th, but you can use whatever colors you want for you. It's a very versatile, easy pattern to follow, hopefully. So I've made 2 sizes. For the video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the adult size. But I will leave a description of the kid size and what measurements I used for that if you want to make a kid's one as well. So we've got a couple things we need to make this bandana. Obviously you need your yarn. For this one I'm going to use a 4.5 hook. You need a needle and some little scissors. For my yarn, I got 100% cotton. You don't have to, but I did. What you really want to look for is a number 4. That's a medium weight. And then it tells you what hook to use. I don't listen. So let's get started. All right, we are going to start with our blue. That's going to be our kind of triangle shape here on our bandana. So how do we get the yarn on the hook? Easy. All right, lay your yarn over there, cross your fingers, hold it with your thumb. You're going to wrap this around your 2 fingers and make an X. Now we have an X across our fingers. So you're going to take your hook now, you're going to go under this first one, over the second one, and kind of scoop it up. All right, now you just let go. You have this kind of a loop here. What you're going to do now is just pull this, the end of your string, and just tighten it up. And you are officially on your hook. I cut this tail a little bit because mine was kind of long and annoying. You don't have to, but I did. So, all right, we need to chain 4. And to do that, you're going to hold your active yarn. Your active yarn is just what's attached to your ball of yarn, and this is your tail. We are going to take our active yarn and go over our crochet hook, and you are going to pull this through this stitch. All right, and that is a chain 1. So we're going to do that again. You're going to go over, pull through. That's chain 2. Go over, pull through. That's chain 3. Go over, pull through, and now we have chain 4. All right, so now that we have our chain, we need to continue. So to do that, we need to do a double crochet. So to do a double crochet, you're going to always do yarn over your hook. This time we are going to go into our first chain stitch, which is down here. You're going to go in to that one. You're going to grab your yarn, hook it through. You're going to have 3 up here. You're going to yarn over again. So now you have 4. Now to do a double crochet, you pull this first one through 2. 1, 2. Okay, just through the 2. So now you're left with 2 on your hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through the last 2. And that is how you do a double crochet. All right, so you can see where your first chain was, where your first double crochet went into. We need to do 2 more double crochets into that. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to go through there again. Pull through. You've got 3. Yarn over. You're going to pull through 2. Yarn over. Pull through 2. There's your second double crochet. You're going to yarn over. Go back into your first chain. Yarn over. You got to pull through 2, if I can do it. Yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so what we have and what we're looking at right now is our 3 double crochets. You can see 1, 2, 3, and then our fourth one is our chain. Our chain right here is acting as our 4th double crochet. Now when we move on, you're going to do 4 double crochets. Okay, now moving forward, we need to turn the corner here. So to turn a corner, we are going to do chain 3. So 1, yarn over and pull through, 2, yarn over, pull through, 3. That is our 3 chains. Now you need to go back into this original hole with 4 double crochets. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our first double crochet. Now we're going to do our second. All right, we have 3 double crochets right now. To do our 4th one, actually, you need to now chain 1 and then do your 4th double crochet. At the end of every row, you will see that you add 1 stitch, and that helps to expand and kind of make the triangle shape that you're going for a bandana. We are right here, right in the center of your bandana. This is what we're working with right now. As we work on, we're going to extend each row, and we're working in more of a triangle shape. Every other row is different stitches actually. So this, what we just did, is more of a granny stitch. Our next row is going to be more of a V stitch, and it's, for real, it's double crochets. It's just less double crochets in this next row, and I will show you how to do it. Okay, and I do just want to show you, if you mess up, do not freak out. No big deal. It's seriously as easy as pulling this, and you just unravel all the stitches. You get back to the stitch you're trying to get to. Okay? Not a big deal. Okay, we're at this point, and like I said, we are going to be working in rows. You're going to work in rows to the point. So as you're going, you're going to kind of flip your piece back and forth, but you're always going to work to the point. This flat side is your front of your bandana. It has to stay flat down here. All right, now that we're at this point, we need to chain 3. So let me get my yarn fixed here. All right, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we need to do 2 double crochets, and we're going to go straight into this hole here that is beside our chain. So 2 double crochets. Yarn over, go into that hole, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our first double crochet. You're going to yarn over, go into the hole. You've got 3 on. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next, we need to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right, we should have something a little like that. We're going to work our way this way now to the point. You are going to do 2 double crochets into the point there. All right, we've got our 2 double crochets. All right, so you're going to pull these 2 double crochets kind of to this side a little more, then you need to chain 3 here. So I've done 1, 2, and I need to do 1 more. We've got our chain 3, and this is what turns the corner for you to do 2 more double crochets in this same top hole. So do 2 more double crochets. 1, yarn over. There's 1 double crochet. And 2. You're going to chain 3 now. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go down to this bottom corner here. You've got your 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and you've got your 4th one, and there's a hole right there. So do 2 double crochets into that spot. All right, at the end of every row, you do need to add an extra stitch. So we've got our 2 double crochets here. We need to chain 1, and we need to add our 3rd double crochet. And that leaves like this little gap that you work in for your next row. All right, so this is where we're at right now. We've done our 2 rows. You've got your granny stitch row, and then we've just finished our V-stitch row. So next we're going to be doing our granny stitch row again, and then you'll do your V-stitch, your granny stitch, over and over and over again until you finish your bandana. So super easy the rest of the way. So to get going again, you do chain 3, then you're going to double crochet into this first hole. Here, you turn your work around. There we go. You're going to double crochet 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets into this first hole. So we've got 1, 2, and we're going to have our 3rd, 3. Okay. So what you're looking at, you're always going to have an extra stitch here on your bottom corners, your extra stitch. So it's going to look like you've got 4. You've got your chain and you've got your 3 double crochets. So for the rest of the time, you are going to chain 3. You're going to do 3 double crochets into each larger opening, except at the point, make sure you remember to do 6 total, but you're doing a chain of 3 in between. That makes your point. I will meet you at the end of this. All right, so we've done our 3 rows now. 1, 2, 3. We are going to do our blue section to 5 rows. So you need to do these same exact steps over again for 2 more rows, and then our blue triangle is done. So now we're finished with our 5 rows of blue, and we need to get ready and start a new color. So to end this color and to tie off, we're simply just gonna do yarn over, pull through, and for good measure I do it twice. So yarn over, pull through, kind of pull it a little tighter. Now you are going to cut your yarn and leave a little bit of a tail on it. All right, so we're at this point, you just pull this out and just kind of tighten that up a bit, and that is the end of our blue. So now we need to add our next color, which next I'm going to do white. If you're doing your own design and your own colors, You know, you do whatever. But for mine, obviously we've got our blue, and our next is going to be white, red, over and over again. So I'm going to have a lot of changing of colors. Sometimes people will do a thicker row of white, a thicker row of red. You just do whatever colors you want and however you want them. But for mine, we're going to have a lot of changing on and off of colors. So to add on your color, you're going to go, you're going to find your 3 double crochets here on this corner and your 4th one here, your chain, and that hole there that we've been going in and been using. You are going to go into there with your hook. You're going to take your white and simply just kind of give it a little bit of a tail. And you are going to pull that through like this. You're going to grab both strings with the tail, go over. Okay, and then you are going to pull through one time. Then you can drop your tail. Your tail can go away now. And then you're just going to go ahead and make your chain 3. So one, 2, 3. Okay, for this one in particular, we just did our granny stitch row. For my white row, it's going to be our V-stitch row. We've got our chain stitch here. You're going to do 2 double crochets in that same hole, just the same as we did starting out. You're going to chain 3. And you're going to work your way into every single spot until you get to the end, and then we'll tie off and do the next color. All right, as we work along and we change colors, you're going to end up with all these tails. Do not worry about those. We will get those tucked in at the end. So, all right, we're going to do row 7. I just did 6 as a V-stitch row. So our red that I'm going to add on is going to be our granny stitch row. So just remember, you put your hook in the hole here. You grab your red, or whatever color you're doing, and you just pull it right through. Now remember, grab the tail and loop that over and pull both of those through, and now you can let go of your tail. We don't need it anymore. And then you can just continue and do your granny stitch row in red. All right, I've got my 7th row done. If you're doing the adult size, you need to get to 13 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and work on those, and I will meet you when I'm done. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've completed all 13 rows. If you like your flat edge, you can actually be done. I personally wanted to add the scalloped border to mine, so I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, so for our scalloped edge, we are going to be working into every one of these double crochet sections. If you pull it apart a little, you can see 2 spots here and here. We're going to put our next, we're going to work our next stitches into those. So I've got my yarn attached. First, we're going to do what's called a half double crochet. You start it out exactly like you do your normal double crochet. So yarn over, we're going to go into this hole, yarn over. You've got your 4 on here, but this time, instead of pulling through the 2 in the middle, you pull through all 3. And that is a half double crochet. So next, we are going to do a regular double crochet into that same hole. Like that. We're going to jump it over into our next section now. We're going to do another double crochet. And then we're going to do another half double crochet into that same hole. So you pull through all 3 this time. All right. For these sections here, these big gaps, we're just going to do a single crochet. So for a single crochet, you do not do a yarn over. You go straight in, grab your yarn, and then you do yarn over. So you've only got 3 on here. You're just going to pull it straight through the 2, and that is a single crochet. Next, we are going to chain 1. So just in that same section, just do 1. This helps you reach over to your next spot. We're going to go ahead and work into this next section. You do your first half double crochet, so you pull through all 3. Then you're going to do double crochet into that same spot. Then we're going to jump into this next section, do another double crochet. And then we're going to do another half double crochet. And then we've got our big gap here. You do a single crochet, that's straight in, yarn over, pull through those 2, and then you do a chain 1. All right, so looking at our work now, you can already see it's giving you some cute little scalloped edges. So you're just going to go ahead and do that same thing all the way across until you get to the end. Okay, when you get down here to your point, I do not add the single crochet or single chain in the middle. I just go ahead and start working our half double crochet right into it. And you're working all 4 of those stitches straight into the same hole this time. So it should be half double, your 2 double crochets, and then another half double. And then you're gonna forget doing a single crochet chain here. You're gonna just go ahead and work straight into this section. Okay, so here at our end, we've got a little section left. All you're going to do is do a single crochet into that hole. And that is your border, and you go ahead and tie off. And then we've got to deal with all of our loose ends, but we've got our cute little frilly edge border now. Okay, now we have to deal with all of our loose ends, our tails that are all hanging out. This is when your needle comes into play. All you've got to do is just take your needle, and I just like to tuck it in into different places. So I'm going to run this red up in here. Right, then you pull it through, and then it's best to kind of make sure you run it in a couple different directions. So zigzag it this way or that way. I'm going to take it under this white section here and run it over here into my next red. But you're going to do that with all of your strings. Just get them tucked in as best as you can. And we'll get all this cleaned up. See, and then you can just cut off some of that extra string. All right, so we're going to do that to all of our ends, and then we get to work on our strings for the bandana. All right, we are on our final step of our bandana. Next, we are going to work on our ties. This border here and our other tie, we're going to be using just single crochets and a chain stitch. So to get started here, I am not going to attach my yarn in this first section this time. I'm going to skip and go to the second section. You're going to work your chain up this way, and then when you come back down your chain, this is the hole that you're going to reattach it in. So make sure you skip and put your yarn in here first. Okay, so we are going to do a chain of 55. So do just a single chain of 55. Okay, so we have our chain of 55. Make sure you lay this flat. We're going to lay our chain flat too, and make sure you work in just this side, okay, so that your chain doesn't get twisted, so your ties aren't twisted at the end. Now, moving forward, all you have to do is work a single crochet into every single one of these stitches here. So we're going to go into our first and do a single crochet. You're going to work your way all the way back down. Just make sure this does not get twisted while you're working. We're going to do all single crochets and then we'll attach it down here. Okay, so we have done single crochets into all of our stitches all the way down, and now we're left hanging in this little area here. So all we have to do is now attach this down here. So we are just going to do a single crochet into that hole that we left open. And now the whole thing is attached. All right, so moving forward is pretty straightforward. We're just going to do single crochets all the way across. Each section is going to have 3 single crochets. So looking here, we've got like openings here, all the way across. These openings are all going to get 3 single crochets. So remember, your single crochets, you just go straight in like that. Now some sections you might not be able to get 3 in. Just try your best. You just want to get it attached basically. I'm going to work 3 into this one because it's a bigger hole. Okay, we've got our single crochet stitches done across the front. All you have to do next is do another chain of 55, do single crochets back down your chain, and then we are going to attach it here in this next section and tie off, and your bandana is almost done. And here we have it, a completed bandana. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was my first, so I hope I didn't fail you. I hope you guys will follow along for future tutorials and whatever random videos I decide to make. Thanks for watching.